Okay, this is a little video I'm putting together to whom it may concern in regards to the dangers you could be having with your property if you've got polybutylene piping in it. Polybutylene piping is low cost piping formed of like a plastic resin, and it is commonly grey, white or sometimes black in colour. Polypiping is employed as a substitute for copper piping in both underground water mains and interior plumbing. Now the problem is a lot of houses were actually in the late 70s, 80s and early 90s. Apartments and houses had this piping put into their place, and obviously over the years a lot of people have had a lot of problems with this type of piping, and there have been a lot of cases after some research. After I've actually had one blow out on a property just recently myself, I did a lot of research on it and was pretty amazed to see what I found in regards to it. So, as it says here on the net, due to the ease of installing polypiping, it was used in the construction of millions of homes throughout the US between 78 and 95. However, it has been discovered that as polypipe ages and reacts with the water soluble oxidants, it begins to degrade and can leak, causing severe damage to the surrounding buildings and structure. It also states on a lot of websites that a lot of the fittings have been faulty and deemed as defective, even from the word go. So it is a great hazard really having it on your property. What I'm going to do is pretty much go through an installation of the way I pretty much did with it. So this here was basically both hooked up to a 250 litre electric internal water tank. So as you can imagine, it was inside an actual property, inside a cupboard space. So if and when the leak did occur, there was potential to have hundreds and thousands of dollars worth of damage in it. So I'm just going to take you through exactly what I did and show you how this pipe was, this one here was faulty, and it was also a brand new fitting too. So just to show you how bad it actually is. So I'll pull it apart now. And we'll start from the start and I'll install it just so you can see exactly how easy this is to possibly go wrong without anyone knowing about it. Okay, so here we have all the fittings for it as it is laid out there, just so we can put it all together so you can see. Okay, so here's your obviously 18mm pipe that was on the property. I'll pass all this through as you would to install it, like any other person would on site. Okay, pass that through. We'll leave that there for now. Okay, that goes through there, obviously covering that ring there. That ring has got like teeth on it that are meant to hold it onto the actual pipe, and there's obviously like a bit of rubber O-ring that goes on here as well. Slide that there. This piece goes inside the actual pipe itself, like that. And now what you'll find is that's meant to slip inside there as hard as you can. Push that rubber ring all the way inside to the brass, inside part of the brass fitting, and then this here is meant to push all the way in around it like that, so it ends up underneath the actual brass fitting. Now this part comes through to here. There's a flared part on the inside of that female nut there. As you push this, what happens is as you screw that onto the thread here and you start doing it up, it pulls this here further into this actual the black O-ring that was on the inside there, and it's meant to clamp down on the actual pipe so it actually holds it in place when pressure's going through it. So we stop there, we put this here, grab the thread, yep, and start turning that, and do that all the way up, as you would on any other property. Okay, just to make sure, tighten those up, just a little bit of a nick. Nothing too much, you don't want to damage it, just a little nick like that. Move these out of the way. And that there has your polybutylene piping secured. But in these circumstances, this actual fitting itself was defective and faulty, and it did burst on the actual clients. As you're going to see, basically that's meant to be in there in place, but with a bit of, bit of force. I mean, that wasn't too much either. I literally just pulled that out, and water was coming out of this pipe and caused, caused this to possibly, flood the residency and almost created severe problems if the resident didn't actually know where the water meter was to isolate it. So quick thinking to him, and wise decision. But this is just a little video to show how this particular product can be faulty, and if you do have this in your property, it can and sometimes soon will be a potential issue. As you saw, this is a completely new fitting that was purchased only a couple of days ago and used once, and it was pulled apart. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it educates you guys a bit more on this product. And if you got this on your property, I would probably look at getting someone to have a look at it and see whether it can be replaced before any future problems occur. Thank you.